What is happening? We are back. It is the Dirty South podcast. It is a fantastic week to be in the Southeast. We have the Virginia Beach NHSCA National Duels coming up in Virginia Beach. We have RAF, arguably the best card they've put out since they started down in Tampa. There's a Kyle Dake camp down here. And of course, going out through all the states in the Southeast, I'm sure there's different camps, clinics, wrestling happening. Um, but we just came off of a huge weekend with the NCAAs happening, which if you blinked, you missed a ton of craziness happening. Every bracket was busted. Anyway, Brant
Unless you
Parker.
watch the final where the Penn State guy didn't do anything for 7 months, you could have, or 7 minutes, you could have blinked and
For
not.
7 months.
For
I probably
7
didn't do anything
months.
for 7 months either, but you
Uh,
could have blinked and he would still be standing in the same spot.
yeah. Welcome to Brant and Essie Wrestle. Jason, I know Brant's been kind of in a cave the last couple weeks with spring break happening and all his kids and him running around, and Jason's been glued to the TV with all the wrestling happening.
Yeah, I have. Love
Also,
it,
the
man.
also Dr. Jason has been showing his strength in researching and historical stuff, getting ready for the NHSCA's.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Since they can't get us a registration list, he's used his doctoral skills and put together some really great research and history for people to be prepared for that going into it.
You
Yes,
guys are killing me with the full
his
doctor
PhD
things.
in history of wrestling.
So, yeah, so a couple things. Number one, it's NHSCA's, not national duels, Dan, but I think everybody got it. It is NHSCA's. Number two, man, the weekend was awesome. I talked to a lot of people who were in Cleveland, and man, I wish I was there, but I don't know. I watched. I mean, the freshmen coming on. Whether it was Oklahoma State and their freshmen, Aiden Valencia out of Stanford was great. I mean, Penn State always does their thing.
Freshmen beating like defending national champions, like not
Yeah.
just freshmen jumping onto the scene, but freshmen beating defending champs, two-time defending champs. Crazy.
Yes. I mean, it really was. And I mean, and to look at the field and look how good so many people were and everything else, to just be amazed by Mitchell Messenbrink, man. I mean, to just absolutely dominate the competition is, I mean, it just blows my mind at how
You think
good he
teammates
is.
watch him in the final and go, "Wow, you can be offensive in the final. That's
Messenbrink's
amazing."
always offensive
I know. He's
or offensive, depending on how you want to
yeah, a
look at it.
little bit of both, but definitely the most dominant wrestler I saw last
You
weekend.
know what? I really thought, um, I think he's grown up a lot, and I think he's improved a lot as a human and also as a wrestler. We've seen him go from that loss to David Carr to the last two championships. I watched him live wrestle Jordan Burroughs, to that excitement that
Mhm.
happened there, um, to who we saw after that match, and how he spoke so elegantly, and how he was very thoughtful after that, and tried to shake everyone's hands. Of course, the Iowa guy just looked at him, but everybody else
Yeah, and
was good.
Mikey Caliendo's getting some grief about that, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna defend him in that I just got my butt kicked on national TV, and I mean, my career ends as, a runner-up. I've been on the podium so many different times. I wrestled the best guy in the freaking building, and sure, I mean, great. Shake your hand as far as, whatever it goes, but I don't have to be happy for you kicking my butt. Like, I mean, everybody else is out
Yeah.
there like,
Hey, he showed up to the podium.
yeah, he showed up to the podium. He did what was expected of him, and then he moved on and did his own thing. And for everybody else, I'm like, screw you. You haven't been in that situation before. At least that's the way I view it.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I noticed is, I think we had, I don't know, 10 kids advanced to the round of 16 or better for the Southeast. We had a couple of Southeast kids in the finals. We had a few Southeast kids in the
Yep.
Bloods, and we had some what, one, two, three, four all together, that All American in the Southeast. I think it's always good to see how Southeast wrestling, and the one thing, first of all, obviously, shout out to Minto and MA for making the finals.
Absolutely.
But man, how
Absolutely.
about Gabe Arnold being injured all year, jumping up 2 weight classes and making the run he did, and you could see the emotion in his face when he accomplished his goal.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and there were a
And he
few of
lost in
them,
the first
man.
round, right? I
Yes,
mean,
he lost the first round. There were a few of them that
amazing.
lost in the first round and won like 4 or 5 just to freaking make the podium. That is impressive as hell.
yeah, I was very impressed. Another impressive thing to me was I watched how Bastida manhandled Ferrari. I mean, it almost looked like, remember the cartoon
And
where the
then
dog,
Trumbull.
remember the dog that grabs the cat and goes like this in the cartoon? That's what it looked like. But then
He beat him
Trumbull,
so bad he made him think he was hurt and couldn't wrestle the rest of the tournament.
right. And, yeah, and meanwhile, Trumbull made Bastida look like Bastida
Yes.
was Ferrari. I mean, he worked Bastida like he wasn't even on the same planet as him. It,
I'm
There,
it
telling
there's
you.
was
there's
incredible.
like longtime friend of mine, like best friend in high school. We're still friends. Was just he has two TVs and basketball hadn't started, so he just happened to have wrestling on, and he was really enjoying it. So he's feeding me. I'm feeding him stuff before each match, like what to watch, what to do. And I said, man, wait till you see this Iowa State guy at 285. And man, Trumbull made him look
Oh,
just, I mean, it's
and then
incredible to look that great in the semis. And then there's somebody who's even better than you. Just amazing
and
performance
and, and
by
not
Trumbull
take
in that.
not listening to his coach. His coach tells him to go neutral,
Yeah,
and he takes bottom, and Trumbull just rode him like a bullet. They and
he did. He
and a
did. And
rope.
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you,
it
like,
was
I don't know if you guys know this, but Trumbull came in as a 197 pounder, and he was
Yeah.
kind of one of those kind of
A tweener.
tweeners,
Yeah.
between heavyweight and 197 and that sort of thing. I'll tell you what, he looked nowhere, nothing like a 197 pounder
No.
in that final. He was massive. He was he is a huge
I
individual.
mean, and the way he kept switching legs from the top, like he'd go into the right, Astita would adjust. He'd go into the left, Astita would adjust. I mean, it was just impressive to watch. And then, obviously we recognize Minto and MA for being in the finals, but another Southeast kid from American, Caleb
Yeah.
Campos. I mean, how about the run he went on? Uh, just
Let's
awesome.
let's not just gloss over Minto.
No, no, I think we should get back to
I
Minto and
I
talk
I
about
would
him,
like,
but
but
Caleb
yeah,
Campos. Go ahead,
no, I was just gonna say, I
Minto.
mean, this here's a guy that, I mean, we all know him. I know him
Hmm.
fairly well. I hung out with his family his senior year and got to tell a great story about him. And he's truly Florida all the way through. And I think this year is bigger than last year because he nobody knew him last year. And he comes in and has this great weekend, and now everybody knows who he is. And he comes back and again overperforms his seed, reaches the final. Um, you can have thoughts on how the final was officiated and wrestled, but just the way to rise to that occasion that second year after everybody's kind of now knows who you are, and be better. It so glad he has 2 more years because the sky is the limit with this kid. He's a great kid, great family, great coaches, and just really rising to the occasion. And it was
And,
so
and
fun
he
to
and
watch him
he
all
looked
weekend.
good.
He
I mean, he
did.
looked good. His body looked good. His body looked strong. He looked like he's been doing what it takes to get to where he needs to be. And I love when he made the finals and they interviewed him afterwards and they were like, "Did you imagine this?" And he goes, "I definitely imagined this."
Yeah. No, so for me watching Minto, um, last year it felt a little frenetic about whether, he was going to win a match or he wasn't going to win a match or like kind of what was going to happen. This year it felt much more like a steely reserve. Like he knew the positions, he
Mhm.
knew he was competing against, he knew what he needed to do, and he just kind of workmanlike moved through the bracket to take care of business. I mean, and I remember his match against I think it was MJ Guyton, maybe from Iowa State. And Guyton had just beaten Maddie Singleton from NC State from Georgia and did so, impressively. I mean, it was a close score, but it was an impressive win. And Minto went out there and just worked him. I mean, it was like 11-3, and I controlled every position. I did exactly what I wanted to do. I moved you to where you needed to be for me to score. It was just super impressive about how much growth he has shown in his ability to handle those big stages. And I'm amazed that he he just continues to continue to get better. Whereas a
Mhm.
lot of guys at this level, they can dip a little bit, or you're just not 100% sure. I've only seen an upward climb from
Yeah,
Minto, so I think that's
absolutely.
great.
So talk about Campos. He's somebody that you've watched come up through the Southeast. You've seen him
Yeah,
go off to
so
American. Um, to see the run that he went on, impressed, or you thought he
yeah.
had it in him?
Oh, 100% impressed, right? So Caleb Campos came out of, I think, Providence, no, Charlotte Christian school, Providence. I'm trying to remember what the private school was. A small little school out of North Carolina, and Campos didn't wrestle in the national, like the North Carolina state tournament. He was a national preps kid. Went up to national preps, made All American for national preps, I believe, once upon a time. And you always watched him, and you were always like, man, he's got a ton of upside. When is that going to kind of get realized? And because he would have really solid wins, and then he'd have a loss, and you're like, I'm not 100% sure. Then this is way back in high school. So to watch him go to American and watch Borelli at American just do a superb job of developing that program, a program that almost died many years ago, right? Now they have their first All American in a decade. And if you look at JJ Peace down at the 25 pounder, or Campos, or a number of other individuals, Americans moving in the right direction. And Campos is a big reason why. And obviously, I think Borelli is the biggest reason why that program is moving where it's moving.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
well, we saw what he did at Stanford when he was
yep.
there, and that unfortunate situation where he had to transition out. But he's
Speak,
definitely over the.
speaking of Stanford, man, I'll tell you what,
Yeah. How
Stanford
about
and Columbia, I was
Columbia.
impressed as hell about those teams. Those two teams wrestled. I mean, every single time I turned around, you had a 24 from Stanford, or a 18 from Columbia knocking off a single seed, like an eight
yeah?
seed or something like
Well, and you
that.
had a feeling that when he went from, I mean, he put Princeton back on the map. Uh, he left his assistant coach at Princeton, who's now the head coach, and you can see him to continue to put in that work at Princeton. And they look like they're going continue to rise. But when he went
I
over to
agree.
Stanford, you knew as he started to get his system into place, we were going to see a good program there, and I think he's doing a great job.
I agree. I agree.
Um,
So, we're
NHSCA.
well, yeah, but before we do that, I want you to go ahead and give us a quick breakdown. RAF '07. Before we forget, that's this coming weekend. It is headlined by Sarukian Poulos. Giorgio Poulos wrestled out of Ohio once upon a time. If you don't know the story, they threw hands back in RAF '06. It is wrestling. It is
Oh
not MMA.
yeah,
Um, And for some, I don't know how in the world he got, like, Chad and the crew at RAF got them to come back and sign up again. But man, I don't know what in the world's going to happen on Saturday night with that thing.
and I got to tell you, I've been seeing video online of Pulis working with Lance Palmer. He's been practicing with Lance Palmer. He's been getting working with him on his wrestling. We all know that Lance Palmer can wrestle just a little bit, and
Who's he been going to for his striking as a striking coach?
I don't know. I've just seen videos for Lance Palmer, but yeah, because he better do some of this again. But but yeah, it's been fun. And then look, it's bottom lined. I don't know if you call that the first match that opens
With
it is
BB,
our buddy BB and DeJulius,
Julius, yeah.
and then it just goes from there. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Uh,
And then
an
up and
intriguing
above
match for
you,
me is to see.
I
Oh
was just
yeah,
to say above you, yeah, Kyle
oh
Camp,
yeah.
man. And it
Kyle
is
Camp. That is right after, or not right after, but the next day. It happens down in Freedom, Tampa. Uh, Kyle Dake is obviously the most well-known coach in the crew, but you have several, you know, people that are going to be coaching there, including Florida's own Connor Beebe. Um, we'll be at that camp and doing that. If you're interested in going, go onto the Real American Freestyle site, and there's a link there for camps and events, and get on there. Um, I was looking at the tickets last night, and the whole arena looks like it's almost sold out. I think there was only a few left I saw in there, and it should be a good event. I know everything starts out today. I think they have coaches meeting or athlete meetings today. Tomorrow they've got their, where they bring them in and do their portraits and stuff with Jeff
mhm.
Riccio, and then Friday uh, they do the sign, and where they do the press conferences, and then Saturday at 12 they do the signings where you can go in and you can meet all the wrestlers, and it's a really cool experience. So they sit all the wrestlers um, up at tables, and when you first come in, you wait in line. You first come in, they've got a whole area with booths set up where you can buy gear, you can buy drinks, you can just do stuff there, and then you come through the line and you can get all your autographs. You get to meet your idols and people that you look up to, and they sign autographs, and they talk to you, and they spend a few hours there, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool process, and then of course uh, that night you get to go and watch the matches. So
Yeah,
Will you be signing autographs?
if anybody wants my autograph, Word Wrestling will be
Okay.
around. I'd be happy to sign them for you,
Okay.
take pictures. Mhm. If anybody wants
it's
my
a great
autograph.
event.
But
It's
it's
a great
fantastic.
event.
I wish you guys could come and experience the whole process of the how it goes through. So if one day you guys have time to be able to actually go to the signing, the
People don't
pre-event, and
want my
then
autograph though.
Yeah, I just want your autograph.
yeah, but it's cool to see how the process works, right?
No, I
So
know.
it's pretty cool to go and see how the process works. Yeah, but
I get
people
that,
want
but
your autograph. They want your autograph on the back of "I proved Kaba wrong"
I would say
stickers.
they want stickers from me. We're getting to that next week.
Yeah. But speaking of this, I mean, I went through. Obviously, I too could not get a hold of the registration list. I too tried. Unfortunately, I failed at that. But I did go on and pull the pre-seats, and I
Matt
did.
Scouts.
Yep, on Mad Scouts, and pulled the pre-seats. So shout out to Willie for that. But I did put them down on a spreadsheet for us. So
You
we do
don't give
have
him
all
a
the.
shout out for something that's sitting behind a paywall for pre-seeds.
Tell us how you really feel, Jason.
No,
Um,
you don't like that's not a thing. You give him a shout out if he like gave you the registration list and we could actually look at all the kids who are
Yeah, but
coming.
I mean, he did the pre-seed, so at least they were there
He
to
did the
get.
pre-seeds and he put them behind a paywall and you paid for them. You don't give a shout out for that.
Oh, I did pay for them. Well, thanks for having them there for me to pay for.
Exactly.
You know, it's really weird
And
if
pre-seeds really don't
every,
matter, right?
Right.
everybody.
Well, and that's the thing.
I
That
just want to
pre-seeds,
let you know that the reason he gets angry is because that's his doppelganger, and they look identical. So
Oh,
if you see them, and you might not notice the difference
I'll tell
between the
you
two.
what, next time I'll be bringing a picture of a doppelganger of Dan Ward.
That's funny. I can't wait to see that one. But we do have
but
them.
it starts Friday, right? It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, it's Friday,
Weigh-in
Saturday,
start Thursday.
Sunday.
Guys and girls traveling out there probably today on Wednesday.
Yeah, I would think that
Start
everybody's
heading up today
headed
and
that
tomorrow.
way today, maybe tomorrow. You can weigh in tomorrow afternoon, depending on how far of a trip you got, that sort of thing.
Are you going?
Um, I am not going, no. In fact, uh, I've requested a number of years in a row media credentials, and basically they've never responded to me.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
And if you can't get them,
Well, I don't know. Like, I
No,
don't know if I'm sending her the wrong
I
place. I don't have any idea.
maybe because I swear somebody just sent me a thing and it said that they received. Let me see here.
Well, as he reads, I will tell
Yeah,
you, it is.
Mrs. Leota. She used to cover
Yeah,
Hernando. She does the Hernando paper. She works for Hernando paper. She covers. Her daughter is pretty good. She said, "I'm covering media for NHSCA. Just got my creds approved."
wow.
there you go.
So Miss Leota got hers approved, but Southeast Wrestling did not. I mean,
Can
shout out
can
to
I get
Miss
a
Leota,
response?
and I'm very happy for her, and I love that she got it. SC Wrestle doesn't get it. I mean, come on.
Nobody even responds, man.
Maybe yours is going. You know what? I bet they have the I don't like inbox that my mail goes to when I send it to you.
That's
So
so
Yes,
they
maybe.
probably have, yeah, they have a I hate this guy email box, and that's where it goes, and they
uh,
never look at it.
I mean, I push all of Brandt's
I
emails, and it's
it
the I hate
automatically goes
Brand
in there
email.
now. Yeah.
I even emailed NHSCA and I put in the subject line, not a registration email. Hopefully that they would look and actually read the email because I'm sure when they see the subject line and it has to do with registration, they're just like delete, 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 delete.
Um,
I'm shocked they're not up, to be honest. I know it's an insider baseball kind of complaint to not have a registration list, but I feel like we've always been able to see who was going
we
there
we have
before
always had a
like it's always
registration
been there. I
list.
mean, that's
We've
how I built
always had a
my
registration
preview
list.
stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And really, at the end of the day, the only thing, I mean, the precedes that Dan was able to, pull and that sort of thing are great. And we'll talk, and these are most of the kids that we would be talking about anyway. But I like to see, how many kids from Florida are
Yeah.
coming or how many kids from Georgia are coming that are seniors and that sort of thing. So if
Yeah.
you've never been to NHSCA, I mean, honestly, it is an absolute circus. I think they've got it in two different venues going on. There's
They
so
added
many
20
kids.
mats. They added 20 mats this year.
It is
Wow.
an absolute circus. And honestly, until you get to the final day and can get people back into kind of more sections and take pictures, you're just walking around. I mean, it's just, I mean, there's no way to follow so many different kids. So I'm
Mm.
not overly worried about taking pictures there and all of that, but it is a little frustrating, but it's all good. Um,
It's not like Fargo where you say, "Hey, I'll get mat 37, you get mat one."
yeah. So again, for those of you who don't know, when Dan and I go to Fargo and work together, you can actually split the dome in half. And sometimes it's hard to be up on mats 1 and 2, which are on the stage. But if I take these 12 mats and he takes these 12 mats, we can pretty much cover most of what's going on in the dome. I don't think that's the case at NHSCA's.
No. And if you're in the dome by yourself, you don't get it all covered.
No, you don't. No, you don't. All
But
right,
I
so
saw,
let's
so I saw your list. You had some really cool uh, information on kids from the Southeast that are they all American the year before, maybe at their underclassmen, maybe they were freshmen or sophomore or junior and they're moving up. And I don't know, tell us about it.
Well, I think the place to start is this, and this is just gives you context, right? So seniors are uh, not the not the smallest division. I think actually that might fall to the freshmen, but
Yeah, they're right.
um,
I think seniors they're allowing 1,100, freshmen 1,000.
yeah,
So that's
1,000.
about what they expect.
Sophomores are 200, maybe more than that, and juniors are between 14 or 1,500 or something like that. Um, and your juniors and your sophomores, by this point in time, your seniors. I mean, it's March, right? I'm looking down the list of seniors that are uh, that are preceded, and you've got Bradley Williams from Alabama. He's going to Maryland, right? You got John Stewart from Alabama. He's going to University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. You got Zeno Moore, from Florida, he's headed to Stanford, right? You got Antonio Mills, the third, he is headed to Ohio State. So, you know, um, and I could go down this list even more. That's the reason why the seniors they don't have as many, is because the college coaches are not
Yeah.
really there watching the seniors. Now, don't get me
And
wrong,
I
they
would say in some
will.
instances they're probably like, no, we don't want you going there. Get up here. You're in some workout program. You're already doing, in some cases, free and Greco, whatever. Like they don't want you getting hurt before you come to college or putting anything on the line. Just all right, you won your state title, whatever you did in state. Let just get up here and get into our program.
Yeah, and especially if you're a smaller school
Yes.
and then maybe a Tennessee Chattanooga or an App State or I don't know, the Citadel or whoever, they might be looking at it going, dude, if you go down there and you beat some stud that is on his way to like Iowa, well, now Iowa might be
Yeah.
talking to you instead.
That's true.
So,
That's another thing.
I'm not, again, the seniors are the seniors, and there's a lot of fun things about the seniors to watch for this year. For anyone who doesn't know, there have been six NHSCA, as far as I could find,
Not
four-time national champs. It doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen very often, not because there aren't opportunities.
they don't come back.
The opportunity, yeah, they don't choose to come back. So that's one of the big things.
Now,
Um,
when you say four-time champs, is that only in the senior division, or you're
no,
saying they won
well, you only get
freshman,
to
they won
wrestle the senior
sophomore, they won?
division. They
They
only
won
get
as a
to wrestle the
freshman, a
senior division
sophomore,
once.
and
So
a junior.
freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
See how stupid I am?
No, no, it's a great question. And actually, it's one of those things where, a lot of freshmen, and I'll give you Michael Mako as an example. I think Michael won it 3 years ago as a freshman. Well, I don't know that he's ever been even back,
Yeah.
since he won it. So, and he's going to Iowa. He's committed to Iowa. He's signed with Iowa. So, I mean, he might. I mean, you might see a couple of people like that pop up. Zeno Moore's going. Zeno won it last year. So some come back, some don't come back. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
one of those things. But, and this is pretty cool, is there have
I
only been
can't wait.
six. JoJo Urachuk out of Tennessee and Antonio Mills out of Georgia each have won three NHSCA titles. They right now are preceded 1 and 2 in
At
the
the
same
same
weight
weight.
class.
Wow.
Ooh.
So
So
I will
someone's
be
going to
really
win four,
interested to
and
see if they end
someone's
up in
not.
the same weight.
I would say there's no guarantee that's the weight they're going to weigh tomorrow evening when they weigh in that they'll it'd be funny if they both moved to a different weight and it was the same weight, but
Well, they know each other well enough, and
they
actually
wouldn't
they've
do that.
wrestled
Yeah.
each other a ton of times,
Yeah.
and it's been some really, really good matches.
So,
So
question: do you think that this week Mills and Yurachek are on the phone going, "Yo, dog, we got a chance here to do four timers. Which weight do you want to go?"
no, I honestly, both of those kids, they're not like they're they're they love the competition.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would separate just to get a four. I think they would be like, I'm weighing in, and if they happen to be at the weight,
Okay.
you know what? Let's go.
Let's go.
And I
Well,
think I
that's.
think that's what would happen. I could be completely
I
wrong,
mean, that's
but
what the best do, right?
that's the mentality of those two kids.
That's what the
Yeah.
best do. Now, if this was the NCAAs and this was their final NCAAs, does that happen?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know.
Yeah, they both have a chance to get four. Do they weigh in at
I
the
mean,
same
the only
weight?
thing is with NCAAs is those guys are locked into those weights.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the whole lineup is locked in pretty early. Usually, you get a couple changes and a couple moves late, but for at least from what I've been able to gather watching NCAA's, is you're set at that weight and you kind of wrestle that weight all year. Um,
Yeah,
give
you're
it.
not
It's not like
changing.
high school where like you got guys weighing a couple different weights throughout the year. They might bump up 1 week, I don't see that really happening ever in college. Just like this is the lineup, this is the 10, and then that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, and honestly, it's going to be one of those situations like we're, the pre-seeds are great, but the truth is, I remember looking at the
Oh yeah.
pre-seeds last year, wrote a preview about it, and then looked at it and went, "This weight class is nothing like the preview I wrote."
Uh,
So
I mean, I know that from Super 32 early entries. We've been given those registration lists, and I've tried to do previews on that, and we'll preview a weight class, and then the four guys that I picked the showcase are all in different weights by the time the tournament takes place.
yeah,
So
yeah. A couple.
Something that was really cool. I noticed was, and I think I looked at this the wrong way earlier because I was like, wow, we have 230 pre-seeds in Southeast. But now that my friend Jason adjusted my pivot table correctly, it shows that we have 59. So 59 pre-seeds from the Southeast that are going to be there. Um,
59 in the senior division.
in the senior division. Oh, so there is 200 and something. You have
Yes,
gotten this down to senior division. I got it. Okay, so my
yes.
pivot is down to seniors. 59 in the senior division. Pretty cool. Is there anybody with a low pre-seed that you think could run the table, could shock you, could get up in the top three, top four?
Well, yeah. So I think that
Or do you want to
there's a
start
couple.
going a different way?
Yeah, I think that if we're looking just at seniors right now, the two kids out of Alabama, Bradley Williams and John Stewart. John Stewart has taken third three times. He is preceded number two. He is a fantastic wrestler. Bradley is preceded number six. I saw Bradley at Elite Eight last fall, beat number one kid, number two kids. I mean, top five kids in the country, that sort of thing. I wouldn't be shocked at all to see either one of them back at the top. If you go to Florida, you got DeSena, who comes in as a one seed, Zeno, who comes in as a one seed, right?
How about a
Bull,
Tyree Graham as a 10 seed?
that's what I'm looking at.
right. So Tyree Graham. I also like Gary Mendez down there at
Yeah.
he had a great run this past, for the Florida in the Florida State tournament. And as a smaller guy, he might still, and this is where 113s are really interesting. I could be wrong here, but Christian Guzman, I think, made a run way back in the day. He had not won a state title his senior year and wasn't necessarily getting recruited at the highest levels. And next thing you know, he goes on a run, lands a perfect spot for college, and ends a college career unbelievably, just an unbelievable college career. So I look for those individuals who kind of maybe they're not at the top of the list at the moment, but exactly what Dan said, somebody that you think might just kind of surprise everybody and have a great run.
What blows my mind is the growth of Georgia. I mean, look at all the pre-seeds from Georgia as seniors. It just goes to show you now, if there's 10 of them, well, it looks like there's about 20 of them that are pre-seeded from Georgia, but 16 are the last name are Mills, but it's still a really good. No, all kidding aside, wow, the growth of Georgia. I mean, look at all those kids.
Well, and what's interesting is that you got a kid like Hunter Prosen who wrestled at
Yeah.
Camden. We saw him at Knockout. He's now getting ready to go to Southeastern down in Florida to wrestle NAIA. That's awesome. You obviously have your Antonio Mills and your Taquavius Mills and those individuals.
And your
The
Araya
one
Mills
name,
and your
one name that I'm going to tell you to watch out for the state of Georgia is Danny Kratulis. Danny made the finals at the Knockout. Unfortunately, the person he was supposed to wrestle had to leave. McCallie, they flew back. So Critelis ended up being the champ at the Knockout. He is down at a whatever seed. I don't know what number.
I look like a 12 or 13. I need to put
13.
like some brackets on these or something.
He is
But
the 13th seed, and he is her 13th pre-seed. He just made the Ukraine. I'm gonna mess up what country he went. His family is from, but he
Oh, I
just made
just
the
saw.
world team.
Yeah, you showed a post. It was like
Yeah.
was it Spain or so? I was something
I think it's more
Croatia.
like Ukraine or somewhere up northern Europe. But he's a fantastic wrestler. He's definitely one to watch. North Carolina, you and I were going back and forth, Dan, with you asked me how good Bentley Sly was. I'll tell you what, Sly and DeSena in the same weight, that is a weight to watch. Sly is fantastic. He's going to App State. But I'll tell you, the kid that out of North
Lithuania.
Carolina I'd watch is Gabe Rogers.
Lithuania.
Lithuania. There you go. South Carolina, AJ Dela Cruz, Gianni Batone, two fantastic wrestlers out of South Carolina who I think could really make a run. And then obviously down in Tennessee, you've got JoJo Urchuk, you've got Ryder Smith, really, really talented individuals. Tanner Tran, who I think was second a year ago. But for me, the one to watch is Samuel Combs out of Tennessee. So, good pre-seeds, that sort of thing. Out of the Southeast, one of the things that it's always interesting to look at in this situation is, do you guys know what state leads number of champs in the senior division
Total?
total since
California.
1990?
California, right? Or Pennsylvania? Come on.
California has the
California.
most All-Americans.
Ohio. OH.
Ohio has the most champs. And that's why I asked you, Brant, because I wanted you to be able to give a shout out to Ohio. Yeah, they had 61
OH.
champs, man.
IO.
By comparison, Ohio's had 61 senior champs since 1990. Florida, which sits number 8, has had 13.
Wow.
I'm like, holy cow, man, 61 champs.
That's really cool.
That is pretty wild. That is pretty wild. And the thing, I mean, if you look at it, Ohio and all the other states, the level of people who have won. So, Dan Ward earlier in this conversation
Yes.
mentioned a name who's been working out with Giorgio. Okay, that would be
Yes.
Lance Palmer, right?
Not a bad wrestler.
Yeah, yeah. He won a state or an NHSCA title as a senior, and then ended up going on and winning 4 NCAA titles. So, you've got names like Nashawn Garrett and Stephen Abus, who out of California, who freaking was an Olympian. That's the level that you have here.
Lance Palmer only won 4 NCAA titles.
Yeah, I think so.
That's it. That he couldn't have done better. I mean, come on.
I don't think so. Well, I mean, you could, I guess, technically, if you'd wrestled in the COVID era,
I would
right?
say COVID year, he could have gotten 5.
That's right.
All
right,
6 or 7 or 8.
You guys want to look at juniors?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So juniors, this is where what's really interesting when I've been writing these posts is that you really see differences in states. And the Northeast and the Southeast is does really well, and California. So for some reason the Northeast, Southeast, and California have a lot of participants. They end up on the top 10 lists of all these different things a lot. Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, much less so. They don't travel as much.
It makes sense because California, Virginia Beach are like right next to each other.
Exactly. Exactly. So I don't get it. But Pennsylvania leads the way with 241 junior All-Americans. New York is second. Florida comes in at number 7, 95. Georgia has 93. North Carolina has 77. They're number 9. But as we look down the junior list, why don't we start with you guys doing some talking? Tell me a couple of the Florida guys you're looking for.
You going on this? Just looking at the pre-seeds you gave for Jasper Kroom to be at 14.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Y'all haven't been watching. And it's not from lack of him being around. He's been everywhere, and y'all still aren't watching him. He's going to perform better than his seed. And looking at Mason there, it looks like a 9 or a 10. I I need I need
I think
grids.
it might be, yeah, it's a 9.
Yeah, I mean, now he was hurt for a year, so maybe that's hurt him on like the recognition scale. But my goodness, he looked incredible this season and completely dominant
Is
in
that
Florida.
better?
Let me see. I gotta redo it. Now there's nothing there. Oh, there. Oh, much better for me. So there's no twos. Anyway, um, but yeah, those two. I mean, the crew really stood out. Mason being able to jump up, and then obviously we've got guys that you expect big things from, um, KJ Lazaro and Kyle Gallo. I mean, he comes in as a one pre-seed, but the crew one, he's going to prove some folks wrong, and watch for Hunter Jesse to prove some folks wrong too. But um, maybe those aren't quite getting the respect where I would have put them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the thing I don't understand is that Gallo gets the 1 seed,
Yeah,
which I think he deserves. He was second a year ago, right? So that makes sense.
right.
Um, he didn't wrestle in the postseason because of the challenges of Zephyr Hills Christian. Yet Adias Ortiz, who won last year, gets the 4 seed, and he freaking wrestled great in the postseason. I'm not a. I mean, obviously they're not different. They're different weight classes, and different weight
Right.
classes are different strengths. But you do look at it and you scratch your head a little bit and go,
yeah, I I agree with you. I'm going to go back to the Kroom thing. I mean, Kroom has definitely he doesn't look like a 14 seed to me when I see him wrestle, and I know he's from little old Panama City or North Florida up here, down
yeah,
here, and but he
Tallahassee.
has Tallahassee, but they've taken him everywhere.
I
I
mean
mean,
it's
he's
all
like you
it's all the
said,
same to Dan.
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
you
up
get
up there.
it's up there.
yeah, Tallahassee. Is that where? Oh, that's where Florida High School is, right? It's in Tallahassee.
Yes,
It's
Right
yes.
it's
next to
actually it's
Florida.
actually the Florida State University School of Florida. They just go by Florida High, but it's actually affiliated with the university. That's why they have Knowles on their
There are
singlets.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Um.
a way better logo than an Ohio State logo.
All right. Very quickly,
He does that, but you know
Alabama.
what? You know what? He is going to be a Florida State fan soon because as soon as his daughter lands there, he'll
She's
be a
already
Florida State
accepted it.
fan.
We've
He'll
already
be going.
signed her.
Oh my goodness.
He'll
We've
be in the
already
stands.
signed.
Yeah,
We've already paid for her housing and
there is.
yeah, what other thing
There's
we
going
had
to
to
be
pay?
no more of this, and it's only going to be this.
That's not true.
It's not
That's
true.
not true because I'm a Florida fan and my kid went to Alabama and I'm not saying roll tide unless like I ain't
I
it's
don't have anything now. If she had gone to that school in Gainesville or that school up north, then yeah, we would have had a problem. But I can. Ohio State's a family thing. It's like we all have our own
yeah,
universities,
we've
but
seen
like
what kind of family. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
but
Ohio
if
State's my
but if she,
family
but if
thing.
she went to the University of Miami and Carl Gables, he would have fell in love with her.
She went to the University of Miami and Coral Gables, I'd be living a much nicer life because my goodness, have you ever seen the price of what it costs to go to the University of Miami and Coral Gables?
Okay, so back to the
I don't
Yeah,
have
back
enough.
to
I
the
don't have enough kidneys to sell
I don't
to
have
pay
enough
so
for
kidneys to
you
to
don't
pay
have
for a
enough
credit
kidneys.
hour at
So,
University of Miami.
couple other kids out of the southeast you should pay attention. David
Oh yeah, we're
Hill,
talking about wrestling.
Alabama, was second a year ago. He wrestled great. He is preceded number 4. You'll notice some Georgia kids, some Hargroves, John Gill, James Severs, who was in the finals of the knockout against Timmy Boda. They're all preceded, but Severs is preceded down at number 8.
Yeah,
So we'll see how tough that weight is. North Carolina, Keyshawn Morrison. I really like him as a big guy. He is returning. He is a returning All-American. He's preceded number 5. Cy Strobel, another kid who wrestled at the knockout. from South Carolina, from West Oak. He's preceded number 6. He is the only South Carolina All-American returning as a junior this year, was a sophomore last year. And then there's a few kids down from Tennessee, but those are some kids I would pay attention to as far as the Southeast goes.
I have a question. So you have a list here and it says juniors that placed as sophomores in 2025, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I see a couple of champs from Florida, Lucas Bowe, Adias Ortiz. We see a Fredenberg, an On from
hmm
Georgia, and then we see that's it as far as champs from the year before. Any of those can win it as a junior?
Well, yeah, but I would assume they'd be pre-seeded, and if they're not in
They're,
the pre-seeds,
they may not be
I'm
coming.
assuming they're not coming.
Ah,
I mean, there is no way Ronan On is not preceded somewhere as a returning champ and I mean,
Yeah,
Fargo champ and all these sorts of things.
so this is
So
just so this is just a general list that you pulled. It's not a list of people that are already in the tournament for this year and they did something last year.
yes, because I didn't
we
have,
haven't
yeah,
seen
I just
any
gave you the list
registration.
of last year's All-Americans who
Ah,
could be
okay.
here. That's all I
Okay,
did.
cool. Cool, cool.
Because
Yeah,
without a registration list,
Yeah,
I have no clue.
right.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
So, it's look, it's one of those things that I guess the way I look at it, that it's an opportunity for other individuals to step up and make a run, and maybe people we don't necessarily know. Jasper Kroom, I mean, we all know who he is. Maybe nationally they don't know him as well. So,
they're
coming in
gonna
as a
know him soon.
14, you start knocking some people off and end up in the finals or whatever against a PA state champ. Guess what? You elevate your freaking stock a great bit by doing so. So, there you go. All right, let's move to sophomores real quick because we are running out of time. Um, these were freshmen a year ago, and there were a few from the state of Florida who made the podium last year. Rocco Ruiz, Colton Bell, Grant Silverfield, Jeremiah Chavis, Timmy Boda, um, who sophomore group out of the state of Florida. For me, I think I'm looking at Timmy Boda, who's
Hmm.
seated third as the person who I just think is real. I mean, Chavis too, but really has a shot to kind of just put a stamp on it.
I mean, I think both Boda and Bell may be a little underseated there at 3.
Yeah.
Um, for what what we've seen they're able to accomplish. Those would be 2 I'd be watching. Um,
Yeah, I think Colton Bell
and
has been wrestling really well. He's knocked off some senior level guys. He's knocked off some college level guys this year, and yeah, he's definitely somebody that's poised to make this run. I agree.
and I'm
So
and Dan Bruce Lee, you got to be pulling
yeah,
for Bruce Lee.
This is my guy, Bruce
number
Lee,
13.
way down at number 13, way too low. Bruce Lee, a finalist at our state tournament. He will go to NHSCA, and there will be some things he does that will impress you, and he will run up that list. I think he's underseated at 13.
So I'll tell you right now, from my perspective, what I know about the state of Georgia, these precedes are atrocious.
Hmm.
They're atrocious for the state of Georgia. Okay. Kane Smolarski, who is a 2-time state runner-up, wrestles for Camden, preceded number 16. I don't
Wow.
know who's in front of him, but I'd be really
You can't imagine there's
surprised.
15 guys in front of him and sophomore that should be in
Yeah.
front of him.
Clifford Williford, who took second last year as a freshman at NHSCA's, dominated, winning a state title, is seated fifth. Cruz Hazel is 11, seed preceded 11. Derek Kiefer, who won, um, who actually no placed third at the knockout, preceded number 7. Murdoch obviously is number 1. preceded number one, should be number one. Nathaniel Park. I mean, I'm just going down the list. Tanner Hunt beat Jake Austin, I think, in the semifinals at the knockout. Tanner is preceded number 12 in the sophomore division at his weight. Like, man, I can't imagine that Jake Austin would be preceded lower if he happened to be here. So
So let's do this. Kane Smolarski wrestles Timmy Boda. What's that match look like?
so Boda's going to win. Boda's going to take that match. But Smolarski, well, it really depends on how that plays out. But Boda beat James Severs, on a late takedown, and I've seen Severs wrestle Smolarski, so I know how that's going to work out. But for somebody to be preceded that low, I just don't know. I just don't get it. I mean, Jeremiah Chavis is preceded number 4.
Right.
I mean, I don't know who's in front of him, but man, dude, that's
Yeah.
that's a little surprising to me. It's a little surprising.
And I don't know if when he's doing these pre-seeds, if he's taken into consideration their freestyle season, because he's got Ilya Kiryanenko at 138, and he's got Boda at 3, and he's got Smolarski at 16. So I don't know if he's taken a little bit of that, because obviously Kiryanenko, if this was I like him, and I'm happy as hell they made him a 1 seed because he's a Florida kid. I'm good for him. But if it was freestyle, I'd be
Freestyle,
like, oh,
yeah.
Freestyle, yeah. But I don't know about folk style.
Right. I don't know. I don't know what goes into this. I've talked ad nauseum about how important seeds are for an event. We get to this kind of, Harrison Murdoch, who's preceded number 1, is number 1. He won it as a freshman last year. He is unbelievably great. I've seen him wrestle against some of the absolute best in the country. So that's an easy one. But when you get down to maybe like number 3 versus number 13 and all the numbers in between, and how am I going to parse out this kid versus this kid and this kid versus this kid? I don't know. I'm a little surprised by some of the pre-seeds, especially in the sophomore division. So anyway. All right, let's go to the freshmen. And as we look at the freshmen, there we go. I just flipped it. I think it's a real surprise to see Araya Mills as the number 1 seed.
Yeah. What is Willie doing there? Araya Mills, really?
So Araya is the 1 seed. Cody Clark's the 1 seed. These are Carson Raper out of North Carolina is a 1 seed. This is an interesting group because these kids were freshmen this past year. They're finishing their freshman campaign. When they wrestled NHSCA's last year, they were middle schoolers. Obviously, we know what we get with Araya Mills, Cody Clark, and those individuals. The question really is, some of the other individuals throughout the list. And one of the names that kind of throws me a little bit is up in Florida, you got Riley Alcantar. Is that right? Where's Riley Russell?
In Florida?
Know?
That's a good question.
So I think Riley actually wrestles up in Tennessee. Maybe it came in wrong. But comes in as the 10 seed. I gotta look that up real quick.
Looks like he's at seminary, Wyoming Seminary.
Is he at Wyoming Sem?
Yeah. Well, he was in 24-25.
Okay. He's at Baylor.
He's at Baylor now.
He's at Baylor, right?
What weight is
that? He was at Baylor.
What weight is that?
Yeah, you're right. He's at Baylor now.
He's at Baylor now. And I'm going to tell you right now, Riley is not the number 10 at whatever weight he's listed at.
So when I pulled the list from that thing, let me see. Maybe I pulled it wrong.
No, he's from Florida, apparently.
He is at 120.
He's from Pace, Florida, is his hometown.
So I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, these are the people in front of him.
And isn't Pace up in North Florida?
Yeah.
So he
Mhm.
probably goes to school at Baylor, but lives in Pace or lives in.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's not surprising. They're Baylor kids that are from all over the place.
Yeah.
But your number one seed at 120 is Cody Clark. That totally makes sense to me. Okay, and as you look down the list, you got um, Dominic Rodriguez out of Florida. Sayer Lopez is the sixth seed at that weight. Kane Drake is the eighth seed at that weight. Riley is the 10th seed. And I'm telling you what, from watching Riley wrestle in some of the different events that Baylor has gone to this year, I'm pretty surprised about where he is placed as a
How
preseed.
about Lucas Barrios at 4? He's got Sean
So this is
Elliott, Alex McKetty, and Adrian Canales above him.
Yeah, and so this is where I don't really have a like like I'm not really maybe Lucas is seated too low. I have no idea because I don't know how good Canales, Marchetti, and
Right.
Elliott are. I haven't seen them wrestle. They're freshmen in other states. I have no clue. They could be studs. I know Barrios is a stud, right? But I do know that he's seated ahead of Ethan Riley and Naguib and Ashton Glasgow. I know Ashton Glasgow's a stud. He is a stud. Now, I'm not quibbling with I might put Glasgow above maybe Riley and Naguib, but I'm not quibbling with that because I don't actually know. In
Yeah.
the other situations where I'm looking at a kid that I've seen at national preps or somewhere else beat some super tough kids, that's where I get a little bit like, I don't understand how you come in at number 14. That makes no sense to me.
Well, and I think those 3 kids right there, Barrios, Riley, and Naguib, they're going to knock off some people. They're all really good wrestlers. Ethan Riley has grown into a tough kid at the kind of prep, and I'm interested to see what those 3 do.
Yeah, I just don't. I just
But
don't
yeah,
know.
Glasgow
Adrian
is.
Canales out of Virginia. I mean, he could be a stud. I have no clue. I just don't know.
I'm always curious to watch the upper weights and the freshmen because they don't tend to be as deep, and you don't tend to have a lot of freshmen 160 and above
I
as
agree with
many.
you.
And so I'm always curious to see how those play out too.
So you got a one seed from Florida
Mm-hmm.
at 195 and Ari Rupi.
Mm-hmm. Roop.
Yeah, but they
Rup.
have him at 3 seed. Oh yeah, I don't
No,
know
it's you.
why.
No, you. He's in there twice. I looked.
Oh,
He's in there. He's also in the mix in 82 for some reason. There's a whole bunch of 95s and 82 mixed together, and then you have 82 and 95 separate. So that's why it's showing
yeah,
up twice.
that's how
I
it
mean, he
was
was a
on the
state. He's a
list. So.
state qualifier this year. Ari was out of Slam in Tampa, 50 and 14. Um,
Which is good.
Top seed in 95. And I mean, that's what's interesting when you get to those big weights with the freshmen. Um, a chance for those big guys to really kind of start making a name for themselves away from senior big guys.
So, one of the names, if as you guys are looking at what I'm looking at right now, one of the things, there's two names that you should keep an eye on. Number one, Antonio Ruiz out of Georgia, who's seeded number 2 at 220. He placed, I think, second last year in middle school at like one of these weights up here. I watched him wrestle this year out of Harris County. He's a good heavyweight who's young, good 220 that's young. And then if you look down at the number 5 seed at 285, okay, I don't know how good Samuel Lanoska, or I don't know how you say his last name, is, but I do know his older brother is the starter at Navy and just wrestled in Cleveland. Okay. And I'm not saying that Samuel is as good as his brother or anything along those lines, but if they're anywhere
There's
close,
a little bit of lineage possibly.
you might want to pay attention to him. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
All
I
right.
agree, and I think in the ladies, I what do you think
Yeah, we got to
of the
go over
number
and talk about the girls real
of
quick.
the number two seed at 126? Should she be one? How good is how good is McNulty?
So I this might be a bias, but I don't know how Willow's not one. I
Right.
mean,
Everything she's been in this
it
year,
did
she's
well,
won.
and a couple different reasons. Okay, McNulty might be a stud. She might very well. I mean, obviously she's seated very high, so she somebody knows her, and she might really go out there and like hammer everybody. But Willow, this is a folk style tournament for the girls. Okay, Willow took second at Ironman and won Beast. I don't know of tougher tournaments folk style for girls.
Yeah.
And just won the state tournament with her eyes closed.
Yeah, but state tournaments, especially at the girls level, you have a really hard time because you just the depth of the girls in different places is just way different.
Yeah.
But we know how good she is on a national scale. I mean, it's not like she's just been sitting here in the state of Florida kicking everybody's butt. She went to
Yep.
Ironman. She went to freaking Beast.
Fargo.
Fargo. Yeah, but that's a freestyle tournament. That's my argument. Anyway, as you look down the rest of the group for the girls, though, there's some really underseeded in my opinion, out of Alabama is Kimber Alford. She's a 7 seed. I don't know how Grace is seeded 9. Um, Jalowski,
Variantos is 8.
Ariantos, yeah, seeded 8. Those don't
Marin
make
is
sense to
9.
me. Um, Hopefully Tarina's back
I
rushing.
can't. I was gonna say I can't imagine she's wrestling due to her injury that she suffered. I don't know for a fact. Maybe it's not as severe as it was when I talked to the coach the days after the tournament. But it's a pretty severe injury from my understanding. I can't imagine she's wrestling this weekend. That may have been she may have signed up for this back in February. Um, and of course, if she was in this tournament, she'd be a 1 seed if she's healthy. But I don't know her status. But I know it was a pretty serious injury she suffered at the region tournament.
How about little Higgins coming
That
in
one
as a
shocked
six
me
seed?
as a 6 seed.
Now I will tell you, she is seated behind a fellow Georgian in Kira Mitchell. Kira is a stud. She is an absolute hammer, and she's young and everything else. I don't know how good that weight is, but to see Higgins down where she's seated that low is a bit of a surprise to me. So, and then I'll throw it down to the last name down at the very bottom, Senna Grassman, out of Cleveland, Tennessee. She's a 4 seed, I think. She is 3 seed. She's super good. Of course, you see who's number 1 at that seed, Daniel.
Who?
Number 1 at 114 for the girls.
It is Taina McGowan. Did her brother wrestle somewhere
Yeah, her brother
this
wrestles
past
for
weekend?
Mark Anthony. Yeah. And I'll tell you
All
what,
right. So
I have been
Corrine Mc
told she is a monster.
so Corrine McNulty is number 5 in the country out of Blair. Willow White is number 12 in the country out of South Dave.
Okay.
So there
Oh,
you go.
there you go.
So
Well, you know what? That's great. You know what? It'll be a great way, a great match. That'll be good.
I would love to see them wrestle, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So yeah, so no, I just went and looked because like you said, obviously if she's ranked 1, someone knows who she is and she's obviously good. So there you go. From
So we're wrapping
Madden,
this up. One
Massachusetts.
one question I have for Brant is
what
how
day is it? I can't answer it.
yeah how because this isn't all Florida kids or whatever, like how do you're doing on your early
Way
rankings
too
for
early
next year,
rankings.
right?
They are done. I am checking with coaches today just to confirm a few kids that didn't wrestle in the postseason, find out if they were injured, if they were hurt, if they quit. Um, but yes, they're way too early. Rankings are going up tomorrow. They don't play a huge role. unless there's some head-to-heads here, which do happen. There might be some, the hardest thing about the way too early rankings is we don't know what they're going to weigh in 9 months. So it's really just kind of a jumping off point, and it's going to be completely different as the summer goes on. But if kids are already moving up a weight here, then that usually tells me that they're never going to weigh the weight that they wrestled at the Florida State tournament. And
Especially this is +3, I think.
yeah, yeah. So if that's the case, then might be some movement from that, and obviously we'll see some Florida versus Florida, but doesn't play it. I mean, those are the only ways I think it really plays. It will change mine up.
What if a kid is like down at like seated or ranked like number 4 for you, but goes through a bracket and like wins? Does that
I mean,
does that help?
that's tough because 2 weeks ago they lost to whoever was third in Florida, or Lion, whoever probably was first or second in the semi, or whatever. So I certainly note it. I certainly put them on my radar. We are too close to the state tournament, and I put that to me has to be the biggest emphasis when you
Yeah.
cover Florida high school
Yeah.
wrestling.
But I mean, what
We're
if he
we're
goes
too
off though?
close to the state tournament for any results that for anything to change that isn't a direct head-to-head result. Come August, September, if the trend continues, they go and they have a big Fargo. They go and they have a big, Super 32. They have a good time at Disney Duels or whatever they're called now. Then maybe that starts to
To
play
change
in.
it.
But I can't change a head-to-head 3 weeks later. But I do note it, and I certainly puts them on alert
Yeah.
to be like, hey, maybe this person's going to be really tough this coming up year. But it doesn't really affect.
Right. But what if he lost to that guy, but then went out the next week and beat the guy that beat that guy, and then that guy who beat that
Well,
guy
then
lost to
they'll.
this guy, then beat that guy who won to that
Yeah.
guy but lost to this guy? Why is
But
he
back in
not above?
2023, they wrestled in junior high, and the one kid won. It's
Right. How come? How come?
yes, I don't. If these kids could just do what they're supposed to do and beat who they're supposed to beat. Um,
But
yeah, I mean,
at a rumble last week, I saw him work over Johnny, who's
all of those things. I mean,
All right, all right, all
it's
right.
tough though because listen, we know there's certain. I believe off season a lot of times should just be used for growth and trying out new things, and you may lose to people in the off season because you're trying out new things, or you're so deep in your rest, you're not peaking, you're not
Right.
tapered, but yet it still happens. So I have to kind of weigh all those things over the next 9 months as to how because you will see kids that wrestle great in the off season and don't wrestle as great during the season. It's just I there's different mentalities that play into that, different things,
Yeah.
but it is something to keep an eye on.
All right, guys. Well, I have been posting some preview historical looks at NHSCAs. I will continue to do so. Everybody traveling to Virginia Beach, best of luck. We will
Yes.
actually be watching and paying
Oh
attention.
yes.
Dan will be down in Tampa taking care of RAF, and getting another unbelievable picture of all the action. His one picture went
yes,
viral.
I am
Um,
excited.
yeah, and yeah, it's great. And I don't know, are we gonna try to drop your early preseason information next week, Brand, or
No,
no?
it'll be live tomorrow.
Okay.
Um, tomorrow it has to be tomorrow because I'm not here Friday to be able to do it on my computer. Like I said, they're done. I've gone through every single region, every single district, every single just it's a massive undertaking, and removed all the seniors, but all weight classes are built, all kids are ranked. Right now, I'm just going through checking a few that if they were injured or if they were um still with the team, which most I think they are, but they may pepper into the final things, but I will make them tonight and they'll go live tomorrow.
All right.
Thursday. Way too early rankings. Way too early.
Way too
Way too early.
Way,
I mean,
way, way.
I've already had 2 emails though from kids who wrestled somebody at like Fawa the next weekend and beat them. and they've let me know this. So I mean, there's like people have already reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm going this weight next year, and I just beat this kid this past Saturday, and
Move me up.
move me up, put me there." So I
Yep.
have to go through a couple of those too.
And then the
All
next
right,
week
guys.
they'll get moved all the way to 4, and the next week they'll lose to number 20.
I mean, it happens during the season too.
Yep.
I know at least one that sticks out in my head right now.
My man.
Your boy.
All right. See you later.